So I had this dream, right, where my wife, my daughter, I don't know where my sons were, but my wife, my daughter, and I were traveling. We decided to get on a train. Cool thing was we had our own train car, and because we had our own train car, they attached it to the regular train with some sort of bike rack like contraption that you could use with a train. And so it sounds okay, except we weren't attached to the back of the train. We were hanging off the side of the train, kind of dangling for some reason. And as the train begins to move, we also were on the outside of the train car, even though we owned our own. And I realized, this is a little dangerous. So I decided that maybe if I could just, get our train car closer to the other cars, that would be safer. And so I went out on this, contraption that was holding us, dangling us next to the rest of the train, and was holding on to it with two hands and with my legs wrapped around the other car. I was trying to pull in the other train car. And needless to say, this was a monumental task to accomplish with a human body. And so I realized that I was not going to make it, and I was getting tired, and I was like, oh man, I'm so tired. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to make it. And then part of my conscious brain was like, okay, stop. This sounds dangerous. Rewind. Let's go back to where we made this choice to get on the train. And we changed the dream, and I ended up eating cake instead. So let me show you how easy editing can be. If you're just joining me, I'm Harry Hawkins, and I want to help you find your voice. We're going to unlock your creativity. I used to hate editing. Really hated it. Like, I didn't mind. I would rather write another 10 or 15,000 words than edit the few things that I did have. I didn't want to do it at all. So today we're going to look at something I wrote. I've rewritten this a number of times, and I had to walk away from it so I could come back and actually look at it and see what I need to do. I'm using the program Pro Writing Aid. This is the free version, but in full transparency, I'm probably going to buy this because it's become my new favorite tool to start editing, my pieces. So what we can see here, we're not going to go over all this today because there's a lot for you to do and use in Pro Writing Aid. So I'm just going to take a little bit of time just to show you how you can make some simple changes that can fix some things. So on the right hand side, there's a lot of tools that let you know here's some areas where you need to work on. In this particular section, grammar and spelling is an issue. You can see those highlighted in red. One of them is probably because there's some words that I've made up. So obviously the computer goes, these are wrong. You get your style score, guide, sentence length, transition usage, business jargon. There's also something here, the glue index, which I typically have to work on, sentence variety. So what I recommend, instead of getting overwhelmed by all the things, is just starting with some of the easy things first, like, for instance, the death silk here. Now, I could break this up into 2 words, but I want to make it 1, so we're just going to add that to the dictionary, and automatically that makes that better, right? So we'll just dismiss this and dismiss that one as well. Ethiobella, prophet of the ancient days, the prophet of the ancient days, a prophet of the ancient days. Stylistically, we'll come back to that. I'm not sure if I think I want to say it that way. A whisper in the wind here, whisper on the wind, in the wind. We'll come back. If they swallow hard, remove the comma. This one is, he had to focus. He needed the thread bounty. To consider. Okay. He failed the task. Ancient asked of him. He needed to get away from this place. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to make this one sentence, these 2 sentences, 1 sentence. Ithiel swallowed hard and steadied his breathing. He had to focus. We can change this. Steadied his breathing. attempting to focus. Oh, what did I do? First misspelled that. All right. All right. And then we're going to get rid of this sentence. Ithiel swallowed hard and steadied his breathing, attempting to focus. He needed the thread bounty to secure passage of the continent. This is a little confusing when I read this. I know what I meant. The spider's thread. He needed the thread bounty to secure passage off of the continent. Wait. He needed the thread bounty to secure passage off of the continent. He needed the thread bounty. Okay. Ithiel swallowed hard and steadied his breathing, attempted to focus. Here's what we'll do. One of the things, let's read this so far because we've gotten rid of most of the things that they said we needed to correct. But let's see how it reads. Reading out loud can be very helpful. Ithiobella, prophet of the Ancient of Days, crept into the shadows of the grove. Thick strands of death silk created a canopy of filtered light, casting eerie shadows on the ground. Black exoskeletons littered his path as he edged closer to grabbing a handful of the rare thread. One spindle of death silk could earn him a year's wages in one of the silk camps. Clicking sounds stopped Ithiel in his tracks. The black, armored, eight-legged creatures clicked their thorax when they felt threatened. He had to hurry. Just as Ithiel moved to take another step, he heard a whisper on the wind. "You'll die here, prophet," the voice said. Ithiel swallowed hard and steadied his breathing, attempting to focus. He needed the thread bounty to secure passage off of the continent. He'd failed the task the ancient asked of him, and he needed to get away from this place. Oh, I'm okay with that. Once I submit this, and just a bit of a note here, whenever you're editing, I always take this as a multi-step process. So don't get stuck on the small things just yet. You can take a few passes at this and just keep working from that. So Weavix, we're going to add to dictionary. Weavixes, add to dictionary. A death nest, we can split that up. There's no need to make that. Boom, boom, boom. Suddenly, one exoskeleton on the ground. Okay, that's easy enough. Uh-oh. Now, this particular spot here, this is Hebrew or stylized version of Hebrew. I made it easy to hopefully pronounce. So all of that's going to be wrong, right? Which is why my spelling is so horrible in this short passage. Okay, take a deep breath. And say his nerve. Come prophet. No, I think I'll leave that there. But, okay. So here we go. In just a few moments, we've improved this. So there's some things that you can see now our spelling and grammar went up a little bit, but there are things that I didn't change because stylistically I wanted to say them that way, and I'll keep it that way. Style score 100%, sentence length, okay. Glue index 40%. So that's another thing you can do. But here's what you want to do. Each one of these, I would say take editing a small chunk at a time. And this is one of the easiest tools I've found to do that. There are other products out there that you can use as well. But for me, this is the one that I have found to work best. I used to use Grammarly for my longer writing, but Grammarly, and I use Grammarly every day, but I use that more for my short form writing, right? Text, emails, things like that. So anyhow, this is just a short video. Just wanted to let you know, hey, you can use this tool. This is the free version. There is a limit to how many words you can edit at once, but really, even if you had a paid version, I think there is some. If you don't like editing like me. Some people love editing. So if you are weird like that, congratulations. But if you are like me and you don't like editing, taking small chunks might be a better way for you to go anyhow. So just like my dream, okay, which was crazy, if it's not working out great for you, go back, edit that thing, because dangling from a rail car, not as much fun as how I ended up changing the dream, where instead of dangling from the rail car, I just ended up eating cake. So much better. So thanks so much. Now get to writing. Go for it.